Everybody, welcome to another Friday video here on my channel. Now, I'm not exactly sure what today's video is going to be called, and if you notice, January has 5 Fridays in it. So as of now, I only have FAQ, Fun Friday, Frustration Friday, and 5 Favorite Friday. So I looked at the calendar. January, I believe August, and maybe April or something have 5 Fridays in it, so I'm gonna have to have a 5th Friday video a couple times this year. And I put a thing on Facebook and I was like, hey you guys, what should I make my 5th Friday video be? And people were saying that I should have like Fierce Friday. Dustin Hunter here on YouTube, he's amazing, he said that I should have like 5-figure discount Friday where I talk about how to steal shit. And then Mimi on First said that I should have Frenzy Friday, which is how to switch stuff out if you're in a pinch, like something that could fill in for something else. And I really like the idea of Frenzy Friday. So thank you, Mimi, for that. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it yet. So because it's the first Friday of January right now, and it's, you know, what is today, the 3rd? Today's January 3rd, so it's the first Friday of the month. So technically this should be 5 Favorite Friday from December, but since there's 5 Fridays this month, I figured I would do a 2013 in review video, kind of like what all happened to me in the past year. First, I have to caffeinate. Okay, starting in January, a whole bunch of shows that I was on closed. So I was on Memphis, that closed over the summer. I was on Scandalous, and that closed in December. So when January came around, I was swinging on Mary Poppins, and I was doing weekly maintenance over Forbidden Broadway, which I designed. So kind of January and February together was, you know, me going to Forbidden Broadway once a week and me going into Poppins very rarely. Now, in January, I forget if it was late January or early February, Mary Poppins got their notice that they were closing March 5th. So then I was like, okay, probably not going to be swinging into Mary Poppins again because they're closing. Then it, like, worked out so that by the time when Mary Poppins closed in March, in the last, like, 2 or 3 weeks of the show, I ended up being able to be there, and I was there for 2 weeks on and off, and I was just popping around, and I got to do all 3 hairdresser tracks that I knew once more, like kind of like my last hurrah. I called it my last hurrah because I got to do each of the tracks again for the last time. One of them I hadn't done in about a year. I guess it's kind of like getting thrown on as a performance swinger and understudy when you haven't really rehearsed or done anything in a long time, but you've done it before. It's kind of the same thing. Like, it's there, but it's not. You know, I actually ended up having the pleasure of closing Mary Poppins. I was there the last night, and I actually got to close it on the first track I learned on the show, which was actually the first track I ever learned on Broadway, period. So that was really cool to kind of had it come full circle, and I learned that track, and then I closed that track. So it was kind of bittersweet for me to close it, but it was really cool. At the end of the show, we all went on stage, and higher-ups at Disney Theatrical came out, and they all talked, and so we got to hear them talk. And there's a picture somewhere on, like, Playbill.com, and you can see, like, a red wave, like, in the back of the picture, because there were, like, 100-something people on stage. Kind of see my hair, like, if you really, really look for it. In April, Forbidden Broadway closed. So then, like, that was my only, Forbidden Broadway was kind of my only income for about 2 months, like, when Mary Poppins closed through, like, the end of April. And then I was like, crap, what am I gonna do? Like, no shows are calling me. At that time, there were, like, no shows on Broadway. Like, I think over half of the theaters on Broadway were empty. At the time, it was just a very slow year. It happens every once in a while. Broadway gets dead, and then it comes right back. It happens. It's nothing to stress about. I forgot to turn off my screensaver! I hate when I always forget to turn off my freaking screensaver. Around the time that Mary Poppins closed, I started doing my drag wigs on eBay. The whole, like, drag wig thing started for me like in the fall, like before New Year's even happened. Ricky's, the store I go to all the time in the city, I talk about it all the time. They had this crazy wig sale for like 4 months where like all of their wigs were like $10. It was nutty. Like I bought, oh my god, I bought probably close to like 30 wigs from them over the course of a couple months because I was designing Forbidden Broadway at the same time. So there were a lot of wigs going into Forbidden Broadway. And then I started building my stock up again because there were some wigs for Forbidden Broadway that were mine. And so I would buy something new to replace it. And I also started just buying wigs. I was like, okay, well, I can make something out of that for the future. I can make something out of that in the future. So I just started buying up all of these cheap-ass wigs. So then once New Year's hit and all my shows started to kind of slow down, I had time during the day to bring back my YouTube channel. So I did make a teaser video for this channel like 2.5 years ago, but then I never uploaded any videos because I got busy. And then when all my shows started kind of slowly dwindling down, I was like, okay, well, let me bring back the channel. It'll give me something to do. It'll give me something to look forward to every week. And so that's kind of where the channel came from, was me being unemployed and bored. And then also from being unemployed and bored, Bobby Pins kind of was born from that as well. So I would go and I'd get these cheap wigs, and cheap as in cheap quality, cheap as in cheap price. Difference, ladies out there. Cheap quality versus cheap price, two different things. If you get something on sale, that's a cheap price. But if something's $5 and it's janky, that's cheap quality. Two different things. So then I started doing my big drag wigs, and I started putting pictures of them up on Instagram, and I started selling them on eBay. I love doing wigs for eBay because it's like I just do whatever I want and then I sell it and someone will buy it. But the thing I don't like about it is just because it's my aesthetic and it's what I like doesn't mean it's what the public wants and what the public's aesthetic is. So some wigs would sell for $200 or $300, if not more. Other wigs would sell for like $60. And so, you know, it kind of was a hit or miss with the whole eBay thing. Also, that's the same time that I started working towards becoming a business with Bobby Pins. But all I can say is that people out there that want to start their own business and stuff like that, never start your own business when you're unemployed. Because that's a bad idea. Because I was buying, you know, $50 or $60 worth of stuff to make these wigs, and then I was selling the wigs for $200 or $300. But instead of taking that $60 back and paying myself back for what I bought, that $300 was going towards my rent and food. So I ended up raking up a whole bunch of credit card debt with the whole first months of my business. Cards are not great right now, but I have it under control. I'm able to pay it down. I was able to put a big payment down on it, all of that fun stuff. Like March, April, Forbidden Broadway closed. That's around the time I met Miss Fame. That's when our little like friendship, love affair things started. I adore her. She's probably one of my favorite people in the world. She and I met actually on Instagram. She found me on Facebook through Instagram. She messaged me and she said, hey, I love your work. I'd love to collaborate with you. I have this shoot with Mike Ruiz coming up. Would you be interested in doing 2 wigs for it? So the shoot ended up not happening for like a month or something, but it ended up happening and I did 2 wigs for it. And Miss Fame loved it. Mike was really impressed. And so that's kind of how me and Miss Fame became friends, was we met there. And then we had a little makeup lesson as her way of paying it forward and paying me back for doing wigs for the shoot. She gave me a makeup lesson. And then we started going out and drag together. We started hanging out. We started doing projects. We started doing photo shoots together. Started doing events together. And then May was my girlfriend's bridal shower where I got my huge burn on my arm that I still have the mark from it. A 2nd-degree burn from a light bulb at a bridal shower on my arm. I still have the mark. You can still see it. It's the nuttiest thing. June was her wedding. July was kind of like, I didn't really do anything. And then they brought out all of the announcement stuff to So You Think You Can Drag. And I was like, okay, I think this would be fun. I kind of want to do this. And now I know Paige, and I met Justin, but I don't know him, but I talked to Paige about doing So You Think You Can Drag, and she was really excited, and she was really excited, and she was really supportive about me wanting to do it. I'm in the salon, and I'm in the salon 2 days a week. I'm there Thursday, Fridays. And So You Think You Can Drag is Wednesday nights. So obviously, I'm not going to be in a drag competition that starts at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday night and then have to be at the salon at 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday until 2. No. So I changed my work schedule to be from Thursday, Friday. I changed it to Sunday close to Monday open because I'm an idiot. And then literally, like, I signed my contract. I turned in my contract. And I was actually having a Skype voice lesson with my voice teacher. Her name's Kate Bazakis. Look her up. She's phenomenal. She lives out in LA now, but she used to live here in New York, and that's how we met. Her voice is ridiculous. She can sing everything up a third, if not more, just because that's where her voice sits, and I want to be her when I grow up. Having a voice lesson with her, my phone goes off, and I'm like, okay, I'll get it after we're done. And then I listened to the voicemail, and it was the hair supervisor, now my friend Sam, from Soul Doctor, calling to tell me to have you come in and interview to be a swing here on Soul Doctor. We need somebody kind of immediately. And I'm like, oh crap. Like, I just decided to do this drag competition, and I just got called to do a Broadway show, which would involve a 2-show Wednesday. Like, oh my God, what the hell am I going to do? So I call Sam back. We talk about it. I tell her about the competition. And she's like, okay, well, since the competition is across the street, you know, as long as you get your work done during the show and you can leave once you're done. And I was like, okay, great. What's going to happen? And I was talking to my voice teacher about it. And I was like, am I going to turn down the Broadway show where I'm going to make money, or am I going to turn down the drag competition where I'm not going to make any money, but I'm going to get exposure? Like, what do I do? And Kate told me, you need to figure out how to do both. Like, you need to figure out how to do both. Like, if you have to run the show in makeup, do it. If you have to run the show in costume and a wig, do it. You need to do both because you need to work and you need to get out there and perform, and you need to get Bernadette and Bobby Pin's name out there. You need to do it. So I'm like, okay. So I meet with Sam, we talk. She explains to me about how the show works and everything. And it ended up working out that I was going to be able to get out of there and in time. I then also talked to all the people over So You Think You Can Drag and said, hey guys, basically 5 out of the 7 weeks of the competition, I had a 2-show Wednesday. It was nuts. I think there was 7 weeks of the competition. 5 of those weeks I had a 2-show Wednesday. There was only 2 instances where I actually painted myself at home. And there was only 1 instance where I didn't work that day. So You Think You Can Drag was a huge time commitment and a big, mess in my life for the 2 months that it was going on. Then I go to Soul Doctor, and I'm there at Soul Doctor. And it's September now. And I'm swinging at Soul Doctor, and I'm basically full-time at Soul Doctor for about a month, because I filled in for the supervisor for 2 weeks, and then I was the assistant for 2 weeks, and then I was done, and then they actually closed. I was done on Sunday. They got their notice Tuesday, and then they closed on Sunday, so it was kind of like, oops. But while I was on Soul Doctor, I got called for, 5 other Broadway shows that needed me, that day. They needed me that weekend, and I couldn't do it because I was already booked on Soul Doctor for a month, so I wasn't able to do it. But there was a random 3 days where I was available from Soul Doctor because they had a weird holiday schedule for 3 random days, and during those 3 random days I got called for Cinderella, so I went in and trained at Cinderella for those 3 days. And then, soon after going to Cinderella, I get called to do Spider-Man. And I'm like, where was this work 6 months ago when my insurance ran out? Where was this frickin' work? I'm getting called, and I'm turning down shows left and right all the time. Why was I not working for so long? And now I have an abundance, and I'm turning down work and referring swing friends of mine to shows because I can't do it. I go and I train at Spider-Man, and then I'm basically bouncing between Spider-Man and Cinderella, and then I'm at Cinderella pretty much full-time because there was this big, plague of sickness that went all over Broadway. Every show, everyone was dying, so I was, jumping around person to person, show to show for, 3 months. And then, like, in November, I get called to come do day work at Motown, which is amazing because it's all these big 60s flip things, which is, like, what I love. I love doing big, huge hair like that. So I'm kind of, like, I went over to Motown, and it was, like, the most amazing thing ever. I love doing those kind of wigs. And it was actually funny because I know there's a difference between 60s period accurate and drag queen. It's a fine line, but there's a difference. And I was making the wigs more 60s accurate, and they kept telling me, no, it needs to be bigger, no, it needs to be bigger, no, it needs to be bigger. And I'm like, really? Like, it's going on a real girl. It doesn't need to be that big. And they're like, yeah, it needs to be that big. And I'm like, okay. So I go in and I start, like, making these wigs as jacked and as huge as I possibly can. And, like, I go there pretty much every week, sometimes 2 days a week, sometimes 1 day a week, and I go there and I just wash and I reset and dry and brush out wigs. And I love it. It's great because usually I'm there by myself, so I can have my headphones on and I can, like, rock out to music. A lot of times there'll be day work wardrobe people there, a lot of whom I know from other shows. So, like, if I need to go take a break, I'll go down and talk to them for a minute and then come back and, like, do my wig, and then they'll come talk to me for a minute. It's nice. I really like doing day work a lot. It kind of sucks having to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning to get there by 10. But, you know, at the same time, it's work every week, and I'm by myself, so I get to kind of just rock out and do whatever I want. And then now Spider-Man is closing tomorrow, Saturday. I'm going to try to see the show tonight because I haven't actually seen it, and I really want to, so I'm going to try to see it tonight. And if I can't, maybe I'll try to go tomorrow. I don't know yet. I'll do a review or something about it later when and if I actually end up seeing the show. And I'm just, like, kind of bouncing around show to show to show to show to show. And then December kind of happens, and I'm kind of not really that crazy. Which was great because then I started getting called by MTV to do stuff with JWoww and Snooki for, like, appearances and for photo shoots and stuff like that, which I also got hooked up with because of Miss Fame, which I love her for that, for hooking me up with that. And that was December, and now we're in January. I really want to start taking my business to a new level, and because I've been getting asked a lot about wig making and classes and stuff, so ideally by spring or by summer, I would love to start doing maybe a monthly or a bi-monthly wig class. And I would like to start with, like, just a wig dressing class, like how to steam and dry and brush out a wig. And then I eventually want to get into ventilating and wig making and fronting and stuff like that. I'm getting asked a lot about making tutorials for those kind of things, but it's one of those things that I'm not willing to give out for free because it's how I make money. It's my business. So I'm not going to be giving that information out for free, but I will be doing classes. I'm also going to be offering Skype lessons. So if you don't live in New York, you won't be coming to New York, we can hook up via Skype and I can show you techniques and stuff like that. I'm going to start doing, like, wig making or wig styling questions. Like, for $5, you can email me a big long question and I'll answer it. Because, again, I'm getting asked all these ridiculous questions via email or Facebook. And yes, I'll give out answers, but a lot of it is stuff that, like, I really shouldn't be giving out for free. So I kind of want to start doing that. I'm also going to be carrying new stuff in my shop. I'm going to start carrying rollers. I'm going to start carrying a bigger variety of brushes and combs. I want to start carrying stuff individually, not just in the box set. I want to start carrying stuff individually so you can kind of mix and match. I want to start offering styled wigs on my website. I want to start doing human hair and stuff like that. I have a distributor in China that I've washed and I've played around with a little bit, but I want to go in and I want to custom color and add hair and redo hairlines, and I want to do all this other stuff that I have these great ideas for, but I just haven't had the time or the ability to do it yet. So just, like, stay tuned because, you know, human hair, wig classes, rollers, and other supplies and stuff will be coming very soon. It's all in the works. So I guess you guys can just stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching my year in review video. It was probably kind of boring for you guys to see me just sit and talk about myself for, you know, 20 minutes, and I apologize, but I kind of wanted to let you guys know what actually went on in my life in the past year besides what you guys have seen via Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So be sure to hit the subscribe button. Be sure to check out my web shop. Be sure to check out my Facebook page and all of that fun stuff. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I love you guys so much. Thank you for everything. Have a great and happy new year. Have a safe weekend. And I'll see you next week for a Wiggy Weavy Wednesday. Thanks, guys.